Hey, what's going on guys, Zev here, and today we're going to be taking a look at 7 broken characters in One Punch Man. Now, what I necessarily mean by broken is that these characters have either unexplained or straight up unfair abilities compared to the average characters of the show. Now, I will say that anyone who is a frequent follower of One Punch Man knows that this show is just so unbelievably interesting in the world of fiction. There are very few shows out there that can match its uniqueness and diversity of characters and the powers they possess. And with the show where the main character can kill everyone with a single punch, you can expect the roster to be a little bit unbalanced. Now, there were a lot of characters to pick through, but I can say that I am very satisfied with what we have, so let's just go ahead and get onto it. These are 7 broken characters in One Punch Man. Metal Bat is one of the strongest heroes in all of the Hero Association. While he may not seem all that special on the surface, this is definitely one of the last dudes you ever want to piss off. While Metal Bat's actual first on-screen fight was pretty impressive to say the least, it's nothing compared to when he really starts kicking ass. He defeats 2 Tiger-level monsters, takes a beating from 2 Demon-level monsters and then destroys them, tangles with a Dragon-level monster and gets right back up, takes the shit-kicking of a lifetime for Garo and still has enough energy to get back up. All of this consecutively. And while his stamina and strength is crazy enough as is, we still have to take into account his latent ability of the fact that the bigger beating he takes, the more powerful and faster he becomes. Like, seriously, Garo beat the ever-loving fuck out of this guy and he nearly killed him had it been for some unfortunate circumstances. Metal Bat is nearly unfair at this point, and even without triggering his ability, you still don't want to fuck with him. For being the #1 ranked hero in A-Class, you'd think that a Mind Mask can't do much compared to S-Class power, and to that I'd say you would be terribly 100% wrong. This guy can confidently destroy a big fraction of S-Class, no problem. He can reattach his limbs, he can take shots through the chest, he can bust apart battle suits that can destroy buildings just by charging through them, he has terrific hand-eye coordination, he can effortlessly take out demon-level threats, and his monster form was able to tear apart a dragon level threat. This dude is literally inhuman, and there's very few things that can actually take him out. He has been shown very few weaknesses, and he is easily one of the most skilled fighters and one of the most impressive fighters in the entire series. This dude is unfair. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Phoenix Man is straight up unfair. He's one of the strongest monsters in the entire series, and even beyond that, one of the strongest in manga. So what is so special about this guy? He's not even a leader or a cadre for the Monster Association. Well, let me tell you, he damn well should be. First of all, he basically can't fucking die. Yeah, kill this dude and he's coming right back at least twice as powerful as before. He has multiple different forms which enhance his already overpowered abilities, which include super speed, super strength, powerful projectiles, powerful heat waves, crazy durability, all sorts of attacks that seem to get him out of absolutely any situation, not to mention that he's a fantastic strategist and incredibly intelligent. In Child Emperor, a high S-Class hero unleashed his ultimate attack that bursts through a portion of a city and even breaks out of Earth's atmosphere. And Phoenix Man just fucking tanks it and transforms again. Also, he can bring the dead back to life. What the fuck? Now, I'm sure some of you might have a problem with me placing Black S this low, but I'll explain why. So, first off, even Black S on his own is nothing to take lightly. He beat the shit out of an S-Class hero. Beyond that, he can increase his size to potentially limitless forms and amounts. Even if you manage to hit him, he can either regenerate or just split himself to countless numbers. Well, technically not exactly countless, just a little under 11.5 trillion. And after that, he can merge his cells together into separate beings, multiplying his power by whatever number was merged. His most powerful form being Golden S, a merge of almost 10 trillion cells, so powerful that even all of the S-Class would have difficulty defeating him. His first action was blitzing and nearly killing Takamaki. And speaking of which, so if Golden S was even too much for Tatsumaki to handle, then why did I place her above him? Well, most noteworthy being that it was stated by one that if Tatsumaki was at her peak, then she could have defeated him. And even if that wasn't the case, Tatsumaki is just a giant fucking hack. She sticks to this list tradition of being completely unfair. This is the best way I can put it. Let's say Atomic Samurai is the Eiffel Tower, Bang is the Empire State Building, and Tatsumaki is the fucking Burj Khalifa. This is seriously what it feels like with this chick. After everything we've seen in the series, with how powerful a hero can be and what they're capable of, Takamaki just shits on all that.
Rather easy for her because she doesn't wear panties.
She still manages to kill Multi-Cell S, who is compromised of 1 trillion cells. Her telekinesis is strong enough to lift gigantic rubble, effortlessly create building-sized force fields, be able to catch dozens of missiles after they've been fired and shot them all back simultaneously, and hey, let's just say fucking and rip an entire city apart. And she also played a huge role in fighting an ongoing battle with what is possibly a god-level threat. Oh, and her reflexes are insane. She was able to erect a barrier fast enough to absorb damage taken from Golden S. Let me explain this as clearly as I can. Orochi was given the same disaster ranking as Boros, and easily defeated Garo, who was a high dragon at the time. Psychos is one of the most powerful espers in the series and is also ranked as a dragon. So what do you think happens when you merge both of those beings together? Oh, and maybe a little splash of God into the occasion. And you get this! What the fuck is this thing? So, first of all, she is the first one to actually damage Tatsumaki and cause her to unleash her full power, and after that she unleashes a wave that can be seen from space, felt across the world, and create colossal tsunamis. She can control Orochi's serpents, which fire energy beams and can survive Tatsumaki's onslaught, survive getting ripped apart, can change forms when needed, and has brought Tatsumaki closest to death than anyone ever has. Compared to almost everyone else in the series, she is absolutely insane, and there are few in the series that are capable of taking her out. Before we get into number 1, I do have quite a few honorable mentions to showcase. Now, these characters were stricken from the list either because they haven't received enough screen time, I felt they haven't had as much merit as the other characters have on this list, or I felt their powers were fairly balanced and they weren't OP enough for no reason. So, here you go. Now guys, I can go on and fucking on for hours about how awesomely overpowered Garo is. And no, I did not stick him at number 1 because he's my favorite character. I put him at number 1 because he's just the pinnacle, the purest definition of an overpowered badass. Before Garo even made his debut to the public, he slaughters all of Bang's disciples, and there are over 100 of them. In his actual debut, he easily dispatches 3 high A-class heroes and then massacres an entire auditorium's worth of criminals. He goes on to nab 100 more heroes, consisted of every class, and whenever he did get beat down, he just got back up even stronger and used his defeat as knowledge in his other fights. He's a genius in this sense. In his own words, the same attack won't work on him twice. He can mimic other techniques just by watching. And then there's his monsterization, where every time he gets knocked down, every time he suffers crippling defeat, every time he is almost killed, he evolves and more than doubles in strength. He has defeated Super Alloy Darkshine, who is strong enough to annihilate monsters with a single touch, and has skin that not even steel can penetrate. During his fight with Orochi, he got stabbed, burned, and thrown into walls, and he learned and adapted throughout the entire battle. Once he became a monster, it was game over. He kills Golden S, destroys 100 Black S cells in an instant, one-shots every S-class hero on the battlefield, actually blocked Flashy Flash's barrage of strikes, which took less than a second, caught and broke Atomic Samurai's blade during an atomic slash, and even stood up against Saitama better than anyone ever has. Jesus fucking Christ.